Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning and your bank account has exactly $0 in it. No savings, no safety net, no rich uncle who's about to die and leave you a fortune. Just you, your phone, and the clothes on your back. What do? Most people would panic. Most people would spiral. Most people would tell themselves the story they've been told their entire lives. That wealth is reserved for the lucky, the privileged, the ones who were born into the right family or stumbled into the right opportunity at the right time. But here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. And I need you to really hear this, not just listen to it. Every single millionaire you have ever admired started from a moment exactly like that. A moment of zero, a moment of nothing. A moment where the scoreboard read blank and the future felt impossibly heavy. The difference between them and the person who stays broke forever isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even intelligence. It's a specific set of decisions made in a specific order, executed with a specific level of discipline. And today, I'm going to walk you through all of it, step by step, no fluff, no motivational nonsense, just the actual blueprint. My name is Max, and by the end of this video, you will have a complete roadmap to go from $0 to $1 million. Let's get into it. Part 1. The mindset shift. That changes everything. Before we talk about money, we need to talk about the thing that controls money. And that's your brain. I know. You've heard mindset 1,000 times. You're rolling your eyes. But stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you is not the typical Tony Robbins motivational speech. This is neuroscience backed by financial data. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are unconsciously programmed to stay poor. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't try, but because they were raised in environments where a certain relationship with money was normalized. If you grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy, those aren't just phrases. Those are neural pathways. They become the invisible ceiling on your ambition. The first shift you need to make is moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset sees money as a limited resource. If someone else wins, you lose. An abundance mindset understands that wealth is created, not divided. The economy isn't a pie, it's a bakery. Anyone can bake more pies. The second shift is even more important. Stop trading time for money in your head. The average person, when they think about getting rich, thinks about working more hours, getting a raise, or finding a better paying job. That logic will never make you a millionaire. It will make you exhausted. True wealth is built by creating systems that generate money whether you're working or not. We'll get deep into that. But first, you need to burn this sentence into your brain. Your goal is not a higher salary. Your goal is assets. The third mindset shift is accepting discomfort as a prerequisite. Every person who has built real wealth from nothing has a story that includes periods of intense sacrifice, fear, and uncertainty. The people who fail are not the ones who faced adversity. It's the ones who turned back the moment things got hard. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable for 12 to 36 months, then this video isn't for you. But if you are, keep watching, because everything changes from here. Part 2. The foundation, your financial starting point. All right, let's get practical. You're starting from nothing. Maybe you have some debt. Maybe you have a small income. Maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck and wondering how on earth you're supposed to build wealth when you can barely keep the lights on. Here's what you do first, and this is non-negotiable. You get brutally honest about your numbers. Sit down and write out every single dollar coming in and every single dollar going out. Every subscription, every coffee, every impulse buy, every debt payment. You cannot build a financial skyscraper on a foundation you don't understand. This exercise alone will usually reveal two things. First, you are spending more than you think on things that don't matter. Second, there are gaps, small pockets of money you could redirect immediately. The golden rule at this stage is the 50-30-20 rule, but with a twist. The standard version says 50% on needs, 30% on wants, 20% on savings. Max's version says 50% on needs, 10% on wants, and 40% on building your future. I know that sounds brutal, but you're not doing this forever. You're doing this for a window of time, long enough to build the machine that runs without you. Now at this stage, you also need to deal with debt, because high-interest debt, credit cards, payday, loans, anything above 10% interest, is essentially a money vacuum. Every dollar you put toward paying off a 20% interest credit card is a guaranteed 20% return on your money. There is no investment on earth that gives you a guaranteed 20% return. So before you invest a single cent, eliminate your high-interest debt. Use the avalanche method. Pay minimum on everything and throw every extra dollar at the highest interest debt first. When it's gone, roll that payment to the next one. Repeat until you're free. Once the high-interest debt is gone, you need $1,000 in an emergency fund. Not $10,000, just $1,000 to start. This is your firewall. This is what stops a car repair or a medical bill from sending you into a spiral that wipes out months of progress. Now you're ready to build. Part 3. Income, the fuel in the engine. Here's a harsh truth nobody wants to hear. You cannot save your way to $1 million. If you make $30,000 a year and you save aggressively, you will never build real wealth fast enough to matter. Cutting expenses helps, but it has a floor. You can only cut so much. Income, on the other hand, has no ceiling. This means that at some point, and the sooner the better, you need to find ways to increase what comes in. There are 3 lanes here. Lane 1 is skill development. The fastest way to increase your income is to make yourself more valuable. Not by working harder at the same skill, but by acquiring skills that the market pays a premium for. In today's economy, that includes things like sales, copywriting, coding, digital marketing, video editing, financial analysis, and data science. Pick one. Spend 90 days becoming genuinely competent at it. Then monetize that skill, either by getting a better paying job, freelancing, or starting a small service business. This is the fastest path from zero to your first extra $1,000 a month. Lane 2 is a side hustle, and I'm being very specific here. I'm not talking about delivering pizzas at night. That's just a second job. I'm talking about building something with leverage, something that can scale beyond your hours. Freelancing, selling digital products, running a small agency, creating content, flipping items online, building a niche website. The specific vehicle matters less than the principle. You want income that can grow without requiring proportionally more of your time. Lane 3 is your primary career. Too many people in the self-improvement space trash the 9-to-5 job as if it's something shameful. It's not. A well-paying career is an incredible tool if you use it correctly. The key is to become so undeniably good at your job that raises, promotions, and opportunities come to you. Simultaneously, you're using that stable income as fuel for your investments. Your career is the engine. Investing is the compound interest machine that turns that engine's output into generational wealth. Aim to build to a point where you have at least 2 income streams. Statistics consistently show that most millionaires have multiple sources of income. Not because they hustled themselves to exhaustion, but because they built each source intelligently and strategically. Part 4. Investing. Where millionaires are actually made. This is the part that most people skip over because it feels abstract or complicated. But I promise you, by the end of this section, you will understand exactly what to do with every dollar you invest. First, the most important concept in all of personal finance, compound interest. Einstein allegedly called it the 8th wonder of the world. Whether he said it or not, it's true. Compound interest is the process by which your money earns returns, and then those returns earn returns, and then those returns earn returns, until eventually your money is working exponentially harder than you ever could. Here's a simple example. If you invest $500 a month starting at age 25, at an average annual return of 10%, which is roughly the historical average of the S&P 500, you will have over $3.2 million by age 65. The total amount you put in? $240,000. The rest is compound interest doing the heavy lifting over time. That is the power of starting early and staying consistent. So, where do you actually put your money? Step 1. Max out your tax-advantaged accounts. If you're in the US, that means a 401k, especially if your employer matches contributions, because that's a 100% instant return, and a Roth IRA. In the UK, it's an ISA. In Canada, a TFSA. Whatever your country offers, use it. These accounts let your money grow either tax-free or tax-deferred, and over decades, that tax advantage is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Step 2. Invest in low-cost index funds. This is where most people overcomplicate things. They want to pick stocks, time the market, find the next Tesla. Statistically, most people who try to pick individual stocks underperform a simple index fund over the long term. An index fund like the S&P 500 gives you exposure to the 500 largest companies in America. When they grow, you grow. Keep your fees low. Look for funds with expense ratios under 0.1%. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all offer excellent options. Step 3. Never stop buying. The most dangerous thing you can do as an investor is panic sell when the market drops. Every market crash in history has been followed by a recovery. Every single one. The people who got rich from investing are not the ones who were smart enough to sell at the top. They're the ones who were disciplined enough to keep buying through the bottom. Step 4. As your wealth grows, diversify. This might eventually include real estate, which has the added benefit of leverage. You can control a $300,000 asset with $60,000 down, and if it appreciates 10%, you've made $30,000. On a $60,000 investment, that's a 50% return. Real estate also provides passive rental income and incredible tax benefits, but start simple. Index funds first. Add complexity only when you understand what you're doing. Part 5. The systems that separate the rich from everyone else. Here's what nobody tells you about becoming a millionaire. At some point, it stops being about what you know and starts being about what you automate. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers so that the moment your paycheck hits your account, a portion of it moves immediately to your investment account. Don't wait to see what's left over at the end of the month because there will never be anything left over. Pay yourself first, automatically, before you have a chance to spend it. Automate your investments. Set up recurring purchases in your index fund accounts. Every month, on the same day, money goes in. You don't think about it. You don't watch the market. You don't second-guess yourself. You just let the machine run. Build a system for tracking your net worth. Your net worth is your score. It's the sum of everything you own minus everything you owe. You should be tracking this every single month. Not obsessively, just enough to see the trend. When you can visually see your net worth climbing month after month, it becomes addictive in the best possible way. It reinforces the behavior. Surround yourself with the right people. This one sounds soft, but the data on it is hard. Studies consistently show that your income tends to average out to the people you spend the most time with. If everyone in your circle is broke and talking about broke things, you will subconsciously calibrate to that level. Find communities, online or in person, of people who are where you want to be. Listen to how they think, absorb their standards, raise yours, protect your time obsessively. Millionaires are not people who never sleep or who hustle 20 hours a day. The most successful people I've observed are actually very selective about how they spend their time. They cut ruthlessly. Unnecessary social obligations, toxic relationships, low-value activities. Because they understand that time is the only truly non-renewable resource. You can always make more money. You cannot make more time. Part 6. The timeline. What to expect, and when I want to be real with you about this, because too many videos sell you a fantasy and then leave you demoralized when reality doesn't match. Year 1 is the hardest. You're building habits, fighting old conditioning, and seeing very little return on your effort. Your investment account might grow from $0 to $5,000. Your side income might go from 0 to 500 a month. Progress feels glacially slow. This is normal. This is where most people quit. Do not quit. Years 2 and 3, if you stay consistent, are where you start to feel momentum. Your skills are sharper. Your income has increased. Your investments are growing. You're starting to feel what compound interest actually feels like, not just intellectually, but emotionally. Something shifts. Years 4 through 7, for most people who execute this plan with discipline, are where things start to accelerate dramatically. You might cross 100,000 in net worth, then 200,000. The compound interest effect becomes genuinely visible. The snowball is rolling and it's getting bigger faster than you expected. The path to $1 million for someone starting from 0 with an average income typically takes 8 to 15 years when executed properly. That might sound like a long time, but consider this. Those years are passing anyway. The question is not, is this going to take a long time? The question is, what will your life look like in 15 years if you start today versus if you don't? Final words. The decision that changes. Everything I want to leave you with this. There is a version of you, let's call him future you, who is sitting in a comfortable home 15 years from now, with no financial stress, with genuine freedom, with options that most people will never have. That version of you made a decision on a specific day, a day that probably felt ordinary, a day that probably didn't feel like a turning point at all. That day might be today. The blueprint is in front of you. Shift your mindset. Get honest about your numbers. Kill your high-interest debt. Build your income. Invest consistently in simple, low-cost index funds. Automate everything. Protect your time. Surround yourself with people who are building something. None of this is complicated, but almost none of it is easy. The gap between knowing and doing is where most people live their entire lives. Don't be most people. What video you want me to do for the next one? Tell me in the comments and see you in that next one.